Something else we want to talk to you about is For the Record tonight. For the Record is going to expose something that, quite honestly, the sources that gave this information said, please have people watch this because we're risking everything to tell you all of this stuff, and no one else will tell this story. We know you guys will, but will anybody see it? Because if they don't see it, they don't get involved, then what was the point of us telling the story? So I'm going to ask you, on behalf of the people who are risking leaking information, you know what it's like to leak information to the press in, today's world. That's not a good thing. And they are leaking massive corruption. And what they're trying to do is protect our troops on the ground. Congressman Duncan Hunter from California, the son, not the father, is on with us now. Congressman, how are you, sir?
I'm doing great, thank you.
Okay, so tell me what the scandal here is at the Pentagon.
Well, sure. It's a long, convoluted one that takes a documentary, but basically at its core, it's this. It's the Army bureaucracy and the acquisitions program that are kind of like the self-licking ice cream cone. They like to keep themselves in business, whether or not they have the better product or not. They would not allow the troops on the ground, the soldiers on the ground in Afghanistan, to get the type of software that they needed to be able to find IEDs, track down these networks, find the bad guys, and kill them. They would not let them buy the off-the-shelf software that our intelligence agencies use, special forces use. They made them use this billion-dollar system that still doesn't work, that the Army's building for itself. That's basically the story. And you had lives lost because of that.
Okay, so tell me.
And the scandal, I guess, is that no one's gotten in trouble. The people that were in charge are still in charge. I got about $200 million cut off of this in the last round of appropriations on defense, but the program still exists. They still won't let the people buy the other software. So that I guess, is a scandal. Okay,
so here's the thing. They're using something called DCGSA, which has a catchy ring to it.
DCGSA, the Distributed Common Ground System, Army.
Okay, so this is instead of something that you could just pretty much buy off the shelf from a private company, from Planeteer, and that one works.
Yeah, here's the deal, right? All these Silicon Valley companies, they work big data, right? That's big right now, and that's worth billions of dollars in the private sector internationally, working big data and be able to come up with and analyze it. A lot of companies do that now. That's basically what the Army's trying to recreate, but the Army can't recreate what the free market does for itself, and therein lies the problem.
So who's Lieutenant Mary Laguerre?
She is in charge of the G2, or she was at that point.
What's the G2?
I'm sorry, it's the intelligence wing of the Army. So the G2 is the intel wing.
And is she responsible for killing this thing?
No, she's responsible for not killing it.
Oh, I mean, killing the free market software is what I meant. But she was the one responsible for making sure that we're spending billions of dollars on something that doesn't work.
She was one of many, yes.
Do we have any idea what is going on there? Why this is happening?
Yeah, it's an Army system, and what happens is within DOD they like to keep the self-licking ice cream cone going, meaning they like to spend money on their own things that don't actually work, just to spend money on them so everybody keeps going, as opposed to saying, hey, this out here actually works, let's just go with it.
And in the meantime, our soldiers are dying because they're not getting the equipment.
And they're asking for it over and over and over because it works, and they've seen it work, the other equipment.
So let me ask you this, Duncan. Do you think that there is a chance of ever beating this? This is what Eisenhower said. Warning, the military-industrial complex. They will start to, protect us, but unless the people are vigilant, they'll just go out of control. Well, there they are. This is the military-industrial complex that President Eisenhower warned of. A military general warned us that this would happen. I get the impression from his speech that unless you prepare for it, unless you're vigilant on its buildup, you're never going to be able to stop it once it is. Is there any way to stop this?
Yeah, I mean, that's one reason I'm in Congress. Yeah. I mean, you have to stay vigilant, and you have to stop the funding for this type of stuff. I mean, you have a lot of examples. This is just one example. There are lots of things like this. If you dig really, really deep, you will find thousands of these where tens of billions, hundreds of billions of dollars have been wasted over the last decade of war fighting, and this is one of those examples. You simply have to stop it. And, we try to fix the military acquisition system and procurement system every year. The Department of Defense is huge, Glenn. I mean, it's huge. They have more acquisition specialists than they have active duty Army soldiers.
Oh my gosh!
Of Defense. I mean, there's hundreds of thousands, literally, of DoD civilians that handle acquisition. So anyway, that's it. And we're trying to cut funding. That's how you beat it. You cut the funding, and that's what I can do.
Okay. Duncan Hunter from California, congressman in California. We appreciate your time. May I kind of switch topics because it's the same thing, and I don't know if you know anything about this, but the Secretary of State, the State Department, has lost, what was it, $6 billion just kind of disappeared? And nobody has any idea where it is. And they're not providing any answers. They're just like, I don't know, it was just misplaced. How does that even happen?
I have no idea.
Does anybody in Washington ever think of the widow's mite? Do they ever think of this money as sacred, as this is the people's money? This isn't yours just to go out and gamble and blow. These are people who worked hard and are not saving their money to put their kids through college because you took it from them.
Probably, well, I would say this administration, Glenn, thinks of it as money that they've printed and borrowed, more so than the taxpayers' money.
Well, I believe that. I agree with that as well, but we're paying for it.
Yeah, they don't. I don't know that anybody in Congress, with very few exceptions, and I think, Duncan, you're probably one of them, very few in Congress have thought of it as the sacred people's money since Davy Crockett. I mean, nobody, very few talk about it in that way.
No, it's the government money. We're going to give you...
It's like they have a retail store or something that they earned this money.
Right. We're going to give you some of the money. We're going to give you a government grant. Well, you took that money from the people, and nobody even looks at that money as sacred.
No.
It's really sick. Duncan, thank you so much. Go ahead.
Hey, balanced budget, Glenn. That's it. Balanced budget. Saves the world. It saves the world.
Duncan, do they have any idea? Do any of your fellow congressmen have any idea? Is it a growing number, a static number, or a decreasing number of how done the American people are with this system of corruption?
They understand. Especially, I'm senior to like 50% of Congress, and I've been in for 5 years. So you have new people, and you have a lot of people that aren't of the political class, let's say, right? You have normal people, and I think they understand. And it's getting there, but they're all frustrated out of their minds because of the Senate and the president right now. It's kind of like they got in at the wrong time where they couldn't make the changes that they want to. So now that they're just frustrated. And that's kind of what we're up against right now with the Senate. Just, they aren't even looking at the stuff that the House passes, whether it's good or bad. But they're not even looking at it. So that's
well, but part of the problem. Part of the problem. Let's just look at your own house. Is what's his face? The Oompa Loompa with the orange face. Boehner. Is Boehner going to win again?
This is great, Glenn. He probably will. He probably will win again because here's why. Let me tell you why. The only reason that we have the House, and I'm sure you have a different take on this, but the only reason that we hold the House of Representatives, the only reason that we've stopped all this stuff, locked in the tax cuts, is because of those Democrat seats that are in the suburbs of Chicago, that are in the Northeast, that are in the Central Valley, California. Those are all Democrat seats. We don't have the House because of my Republican seat that'll most likely always be Republican, and that's what Boehner has to contend with. It's a big umbrella, and we have to take in everybody so that we can at least hold the House, and that gets him in trouble because that gives the perception that he's kowtowing to certain groups or not, and I think that's where that perspective comes from.
So wait a minute, this is a new perspective that I've heard on this program. Are you telling me that you think Boehner is a good guy?
Yeah, I like John. I think he does a good job.
Hang on just a second. I don't know if my mic was on when I asked that question. You're saying that Boehner was a good guy, or is a good guy?
Boehner is a good guy.
Okay, wait. Let me hang on just a second. Wait. Let me just rephrase this one last time because I'm not sure the mic. Okay, forget about he's a good guy because he might be sure he's lovable, he's funny, he's whatever. He's a great person. I know that. I love him as a person. I don't hate the things. I don't hate him. I just really despise the things that he does. So you're saying the things that he does? You think that's?
No, not everything, Glenn. Of course not. There's quite a few things where we disagree, but I I guess if you keep the ball rolling forward,
all right,
then that's progress, right?
Okay, all right.
The good kind of progress.
All right. Well, I was going to say, you're going to have to. Okay, all right. Duncan, I want to thank you for working so hard on this. I want to thank you for standing up for our military. I mean, I know your dad did for a long time, and you're following in his footsteps, and we were big fans of your dad and what he did. And may I ask you one other question that you may not have an answer to?
Yeah.
I want to ask you about the tech meltdown. The Washington Post has learned that a nationwide computer network has failed and shut down the entire system, according to the Department of Homeland Security's Immigration and Customs Enforcement. And so without access to the electronic records in court proceedings, which have now slowed to a crawl, they're just going to have to stop deporting people because there was this, quote, massive tech meltdown that has crippled the court system. What kind of, is it a TRS-80?
Yeah.
What breaks down? I've never heard, I have documents from people who are in Silicon Valley that wrote to me this morning and said, Glenn, please read this story again and look for these things, which I'm going to do here in a minute. That story is bullcrap. That computers just don't even work that way. What are they talking about?
It's Commodore 64.
Yeah. So can you tell me, do you know, have you heard anything on this?
No, I just read what you've read, but I would lean heavy on the conspiracy theory side of this. Yeah. I don't think things break like that. And we know that the way that things work now, they don't. I have a backup at home that's off-site, right? So in case my house burns down, all of my photos of my kids stick around. And you would think, and we know that the government has that too, especially an agency like Homeland Security, which is brand new, by the way. This is not an old agency, right? This agency was created in the last 12 years, so that they aren't going to have Commodore 64s. They're going to have all the newer technology, at least newer than the other departments in the U.S. government.
All right. Thank you very much, Duncan. I appreciate it. God bless. Godspeed. Thanks.